So what's up, everyone? I want to talk about this training concept that was made, I don't want to call it made famous, but definitely made popular and pioneered by Dr. Tim Gabbett. And it's a training concept that I think just about anyone should know. I got hair in my eyes. My hair is too long right now. Oh well, off topic. And it's the idea of acute to chronic. And acute to chronic simply means that you should look at your training acutely today, this week, relative to what you have been doing chronically, past 4 weeks, past 2 months, in order to make sure we have enough progressive overload. And we're doing basically one of two things. We're making sure we're actually doing more work than before. So we're training hard enough that we are adding enough general acute stress to create adaptation, but at the same time that the acute stress that you're adding to the body isn't too much relative to what you have been doing. If we think about typical overuse issues, they stem from the fact that what we are doing now in this day or this week is far greater than what our physical capacity is able of keeping up with, and typically because we're doing more than we had been doing the past month or 2 months. And really, at the end of the day, this is just a way to quantify, at least in an okay way, in my opinion. It's a pretty good way if you can measure the numbers right. I'll tell you in a second what it's come about. Quantify progressive overload. So think about it like this. It's basically putting a number, let's say RPE, rate of perceived exertion, maybe minutes of activity, total tonnage, weight lifted, whatever it is, for a week, that whole week, and what that value of that week is, maybe even that day, relative to the previous 4 weeks or previous whatever time period you want. And you can look at that and say, well, today on average this week on average, we did 10 miles of running every day. But in the previous 4 weeks, we only did 4 miles of running. So I can give the average number of 4 for the previous weeks, and this week a 10. So our ratio is 2.5, right? It's 2.5 times greater than it was before, which is a really high acute load, which might mean that we might be more susceptible to overuse injuries. Again, keyword might be more susceptible to overuse injuries and just too much load too quickly. The acute is far greater than the chronic in this case. So it's an interesting concept. It's something that we should be aware of. Again, the direct application of it for an average gym goer is a little difficult at times. You gotta calculate all the sets and reps and weights. Maybe that's not really something that you want to do. It takes a little bit of time sometimes. That's okay. But just be cognizant of it. Maybe just give it an RPE, how difficult it was, that day was, and the time spent. Maybe you just do it for your major lifts. Like you just do it for the squat, bench, deadlift, or what lifts you think that are most important, are most demanding. Or maybe at the end of the week, you just sum that week up and you have a general metric. The idea of it is simply to help give us more context and awareness of what's going on in training so we can make adjustments accordingly. It's nothing, no magical, special situation. It's just a situation where we're trying to measure things more, get a better understanding what's going on, so we can relate what's happening to our body, what we subjectively feel, with what's quantifiably happening, the actual load we put on our body. So it's something I wanted to share because I thought it'd be useful for most people and something that maybe they haven't been exposed to. So Dr. Tim Gabbett, Acute to Chronic, a bunch of papers on it. Again, the direct application might not be as direct in those papers as you'd like it, but the concept really is founded in the idea of progressive overload, stress, stimulus, recovery, adaptation. I enjoy it. I thought it was really good. So I'm kind of a nerd, whatever, man. You don't need to enjoy the papers as much as I do. I think the application of it's very strong, though, when used appropriately.